Q106.7 weather.
Here's your KQNK forecast. Ample sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 86. Winds out of the south 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, lows level off around 56. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. Temps a bit below average Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 70s. Slight chance of thunderstorms Thursday. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Laura Lockwood. Right now, 53.
Kansas Information Network News. Meade High School canceled classes Friday after a powerful microburst Thursday night. J.P. Pizzette with the details.
Winds reached up to 85 miles per hour, damaging a scoreboard and ripping off part of the school's roof. Superintendent Rex Bruce.
I get a phone call from a school board member, Frantic. He was here while it was happening, and he said, I just dodged it looked like a hood from a car. Well, it wasn't a hood from a car. It was part of our air conditioner from on the roof.
Damages are estimated at $500,000, but the district's insurance is expected to cover costs. Despite the destruction, no one was injured. Classes resume today.
And a visitation service honoring Ark City firefighter Trevor Rusk will be tonight at First Assembly of God in Ark City. A funeral service is planned for Wednesday at the Wellington Free Will Baptist Church. Some confusion about how Rusk died. A statement from the city Saturday said Rusk died while off duty, but an update statement on Sunday said Rusk's death was being considered line of duty. I'm Jared Sorello.
Have you lost CanCare? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Smokey the Bear. Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Good morning, I'm Natalie Hadley with your KQNK News. Brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, serving all of your chemical and fertilizer needs. More than 100,000 Kansans have lost health care coverage through the state's Medicaid program since April 2023 after the rocky unwinding of pandemic-era protections. However, the agency in charge of the review has seen progress recently based on incremental changes. Christine Osterlin, the state's Medicaid director, told the legislature's Joint CanCare Oversight Committee that the state's review of eligibility for CanCare, as Medicaid is known in Kansas, was plagued by havoc in its first months, though before the review ended in May, the process had smoothed, and officials have now determined an estimated 114,000 people lost their coverage. April data revealed that at least 24,000 people of that share that lost coverage were children. Osterlin said recent efforts to rework the CanCare website, bolster text messages and email communication systems, and to simplify the eligibility renewal process have made a difference. Average call center wait times peaked at 24 minutes in April 2023, and they were at their lowest in June at 13 seconds. And the most recent data showed average wait times in July to be just less than 1 minute. The agency also reduced the number of unsigned eligibility renewal forms from 1.5% to 0.06% in about 3 months just by moving the order of the signature page up in the packet. And Osterlin said during the legislative hearing that these are some early results, but she thinks they're indicative of what they're on the right track for. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Medicaid programs were required to keep people continuously enrolled until the end of the public health emergency unless the person moved away, died, or requested to end coverage. During that time, enrollment in CanCare increased from 410,000 to 540,000 people. When the protections ended on March 31, 2023, the state began to review CanCare eligibility for the first time in 3 years. And early in the review, participants and providers experienced a communication breakdown, technology troubles, and overall confusion with the renewal process, which resulted in thousands unnecessarily losing their eligibility status. Osterlund predicted in February that between 110 and 120,000 Kansans would lose their eligibility, so she said the 114,000 was well within the agency's margins. In a major move, the Kansas Lottery Commission adopted new rules to allow for online lottery sales in the state, and according to the agency, the move could bring in an additional $10 to $20 million in revenue per year, which could help line a state fund to attract pro sports teams. The move would make instant games like the Powerball, Mega Millions, and Scratch-Offs available through the Kansas Lottery's website and mobile app. However, casino-style games like blackjack would not be included. Stephen Durrell, the executive director of the Kansas Lottery, said giving their players the ability to purchase their products in this fashion is something they've wanted for a very long time, and they're excited to be able to provide new games and purchasing options safely and securely for players in the state. He said just as they were pleased to bring Kansas sports betting through mobile applications, they're also happy to now be able to provide players this new opportunity under existing law. A Kansas Lottery spokesman reported that the agency is still working on a timeline to implement the online sales, though it could take effect as soon as later this year or early 2025. This comes as the lottery is directed to shift tens of millions of dollars in additional lottery revenue to the state's Attracting Pro Sports Team Fund, according to this year's omnibus budgeted bill. Governor Kelly recently announced that $5.6 million has been awarded for 49 projects to strengthen the middle of Kansas's food supply chain, saying Kansas's central location and abundant agriculture production are critical to the nation's food supply chain. And by investing in Kansas's producers and businesses in this sector, they're strengthening economic growth across the state. Through the Resilient Food Systems Infrastructure, or RFSI program, administered by the Kansas Department of Agriculture, 8 grants will improve producers' infrastructure, and the other 41 will strengthen the middle of the state's food supply chain operations. The projects selected for funding were informed by engagement and outreach within underserved producers to understand the needs of the agriculture supply chain. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Beam said these grants will help Kansas food and farm businesses and other eligible organizations create diverse local and regional market options and more economic opportunities for our Kansas communities. He said with this financial support, they'll see improvements across the middle of the state's food supply chain, including increased food processing infrastructure, producer aggregation points, and product storage. For more information about the RFSI program at the Kansas Department of Agriculture, you can visit agriculture.ks.gov. In Nebraska news, on August 31st at approximately 1 p.m., the St. Paul Police Department received a report that James Jimmy Jacobson was missing after Mr. Jacobson left his home at approximately 9:30 a.m. and was to go to a few businesses in St. Paul. He was to have returned a short time, however, later he never did. St. Paul's Chief Howard requested Howard County Communications activate the St. Paul Volunteer Fire Department and EMS to assist in the search for Mr. Jacobson, and the search was called off after an extensive search of St. Paul and Howard County, so Mr. Jacobson was entered as a missing person. On September 1st at approximately 11 a.m., the Hastings Police Department located Mr. Jacobson deceased. Foul play is not suspected in the case, and no other information will be given at this time. Chief Howard wants to thank Sheriff Hoff and the deputies of the Howard County Sheriff's Office, the Howard County Communications, the Nebraska State Patrol, Nebraska Game and Parks, the St. Paul, Elba, Dannebrog, and Palmer Volunteer Fire Departments, and all of the citizens who helped in the search for Mr. Jacobson. The Seward County Sheriff's Office reported on Thursday that a woman was killed last week in a crash with a tractor in rural Seward County. The crash happened on August 22nd at around 8 a.m. at 238th and Old Mill Roads, just northeast of Seward, when a tractor turned north at the intersection and hit a westbound SUV. The driver of the SUV, 34-year-old Jamie Kalmus of Seward, was taken to a hospital where she later died. 3 children were also in the SUV, and they were treated and released at the scene with no injuries. The driver of the tractor, a 65-year-old Seward man, was uninjured. The Sheriff's Office said seatbelts were used in the SUV and alcohol was not a factor. An investigation into the crash is ongoing. I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Firebolt Ag is a full-service fertilizer and chemical retailer. They customize products for individual farmers' needs, with the primary focus being customer profitability. Let Josh and Jack help you get the most out of your farm ground. They also provide in-house marketing with Ron Wall of Flatwater Solutions. Visit Ron in Phillipsburg or call Josh at 785-854-8484 or Jack at 308-840-2819. Firebolt Ag, your leader in agriculture.
Law enforcement in Kansas have raised concerns over the plans to close Interstate 70 for 24 hours to remove a bridge over the interstate. The structurally deficient bridge has been struck multiple times by oversized vehicles, and to remove it, the Kansas Department of Transportation plans to close the interstate to all traffic for 24 hours starting at 4 a.m. tomorrow, September 4th. The interstate detour will be Kansas Highway 23, U.S. Highway 24, and U.S. Highway 283, and the route would divert truck traffic through cities like Hoxie, Hill City, and Waukene. The detour adds 40 miles and is nearly an hour's drive compared to continuing on the interstate, so law enforcement along the route have raised objections to the detour with the Kansas Department of Transportation. The Sheridan and Gove County Sheriffs and the Hoxie Police Chief expressed their concerns over safety issues created by the detour, as they are concerned about K-23's narrow roads with no shoulders that cannot handle heavy traffic. They said they're also concerned about the impacts on businesses in Hoxie along US 24 and Oak Street, K-23, and potential delays in emergency responses. The Kansas Department of Transportation said it will be conducting traffic control at the intersection in Hoxie, and USD 412 in Hoxie has canceled classes for September 4th over safety concerns as the project does go forward, weather permitting. The Kansas Department of Transportation said the plans for a possible replacement bridge are still being developed. According to the unofficial minutes of the Norton County Board of Commissioners meeting that was held on August 26th, Chairman Richard Thompson called the meeting of the Norton County Board of Commissioners to order at 9 a.m. in the Commission Room, and in attendance were Richard Thompson, Garrett Beidler, and Marvin Matchett. John Mapes with Mapes & Miller Accounting was present for the 2025 proposed budget hearing for the County of Norton. The first item of business was the hearing for the revenue neutral rate. A motion was made by Commissioner Thompson to open the revenue neutral rate hearing, with the second from Chairman Beidler, and the motion passed. There was no one present from the public, so a motion was made by Chairman Beidler to close the revenue neutral rate hearing, with the second from Commissioner Thompson. A motion was made by Commissioner Thompson to adopt Resolution 2024-10, which is a resolution from Norton County, Kansas, to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate. The motion was given a second by Chairman Beidler, and the motion passed. A motion was made by Chairman Beidler to open the 2025 proposed budget hearing for the County of Norton, with the second from Commissioner Thompson, and the motion passed. There was no one from the public present, so a motion was made by Commissioner Thompson to close the hearing, with the second from Commissioner Beidler, and the motion passed. A motion was then made by Chairman Beidler to adopt the 2025 County of Norton budget as published, with the second from Commissioner Thompson, and the motion passed, and the budget was approved. Melissa Schoen, the Norton County attorney, delivered to the Commission for review the settlement and mutual release agreement and the agreement for communication and jail services, and the agreements were between the City of Norton and the County of Norton. The agreements were reviewed and will be discussed further when the sheriff can be present. The Commission reviewed a letter from David N. Harper, the Director of Property Valuation Division, and Mr. Harper informed the Commission by letter that the annual statistical and procedural compliance review for the 2024 appraisal year to determine substantial compliance within the County Appraiser's Office has been completed. A minimum of 75 points is required to successfully achieve substantial compliance, and Norton County has met the criteria and is determined to be in substantial compliance. A motion was made by Commissioner Thompson to approve the August 19, 2024 Commission minutes, with the second from Commissioner Matchett, and the motion passed. And with no further business before the board, the meeting was then adjourned. Mass of Christian burial for Marilyn Dix, 68 of Norton, will be held at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, September 7th, at the St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in Norton, and interment will follow in the Norton Cemetery. Visitation will be from 5 to 7 p.m. Thursday, September 6th at the Plummer Gobber Funeral Home, and a rosary and wake service will follow at 7 p.m. also at the funeral home. Memorial contributions may be made to the Marilyn Dix Memorial Fund and sent in care of Plummer Gobber Funeral Home, 215 West Main Street in Norton, and condolences may be left at plummergobber.com. Graveside services for Ramona Barnes, 70 of Norcatur, will be held at 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, September 5th in the Norcatur Cemetery, and a visitation will be from 10 to 11 a.m. before the graveside service at the funeral home. Memorial contributions may be made to the Ramona Barnes Memorial Fund and sent in care of Plummer Gobber Funeral Home, 215 West Main Street in Norton, and condolences may be left at plummergobber.com. Your menu today for Eisenhower Elementary School. For lunch, you'll have peanut butter and honey sandwich, cottage cheese, warm peas, baby carrots, mandarin oranges, and milk. For Norton Community High School and Junior High, your lunch today will be soft taco or corn dog, fruit, and milk. And for Northern Valley Schools, your lunch today will be corn dog, potatoes, vegetable, and fruit. I'm Natalie Hadley. Your KQNK News was brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, farmers helping farmers to succeed. You can contact Firebolt Ag today to get the most out of your farmland. Your KQNK weather forecast is being brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, your Norton experts for all of your pest control needs. Your forecast for today should be sunny with a high near 87 and a south wind of 5 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, it should be clear with a low around 56 and a south wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour. On Wednesday, it should be sunny with a high near 89 and a south wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Wednesday night, there's a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 a.m. with increasing clouds and a low around 61. I'll be back with the rest of your forecast in just a moment.
When you got bugs, we know what a nuisance that can be.
Lock 'em out. From Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, Lock 'em Out is our very effective residential insect prevention program. We'll come to your place and treat your foundation plus all insect entryways. And while we're there, receive a free termite inspection. Call Mr. Rich Wenzel, our certified technician in Norton, at 785-202-0167. That's 202-0167.
Continue with your weather forecast. On Friday, it should be sunny with a high near 76. On Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. On Sunday, it should be mostly sunny with a high near 82. And on Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 85. Currently, with fair skies, it is 55 degrees. The humidity is 72%. The wind speed is south at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 30.21. The dew point is 46 degrees. And the current wind chill is 53 degrees. Your weather was brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control right here in Norton. You can call Hinkle Termite and Pest Control at 785-202-0167 for all of your pest control needs. It is 8:19. It's time for Kansas Sports, brought to you by United Northwest Federal Credit Union, where everything they do for you.
Save more, earn more with the Easy Saver account at the United Northwest Federal Credit Union. Enrollment in this program automatically rounds up the amount of all debit card and share draft purchases made from your checking account to the next whole dollar and deposits into the Easy Saver savings account. Not only will this account help you save, but it also earns 2.01% APY monthly. Special terms and conditions apply. Come in today and open your Easy Saver account at the United Northwest Federal Credit Union, where everything we do for you. NCUA insured.
KIN Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuis. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid spoke to the media late last week via Zoom and talked about the new players they brought in, including wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, who had previously been with the team during their 2022 Super Bowl run, and what it meant to have him back.
With Juju, we welcome Juju back with open arms. He's healthy and ready to go. His knee. He had the knee before, but we were able to manage that. We'll continue to manage it. He looks great right now, and he jumped right back in and had some good practice for us. So it's just a matter of him getting banged around a little bit and having not been in camp. So he'll get all that as the season goes. But it's good to have him back in the mix there for sure.
Coach Reed also says he expects Juju Smith-Schuster to be able to go this Thursday in the season opener against the Ravens. Kansas Information Network Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuis.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
It's true, many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I agree, and I'd like to help. I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Philip Eisenhagen. Together we can give your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Stop by our office at 418 East Holm here in Norton or call 877-3373. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.